We're live in Best Chicago Wholesale Deals Facebook group. I think I'm live. Yeah. Today we're going over we just closed a couple more Airbnbs where we're gonna be going to how to run and start your own Airbnb management company. So pretty much go over everything that you have to do to start a management company, team, softwares, everything you need to get started and that's what we do. We also manage Airbnbs for other people as well. We do rent to owns Airbnb. So if you're interested in that, this training is for you. So our goal is to help you close deals and in return. Hopefully we can partner on deals in the future. For example, this training here, if you have a property that you're renting out, want to turn into Airbnb, we can manage it for you. If you, find someone that wants to turn a property into Airbnb, we can manage it for you. We have students that are making, thousands of dollars a month, and we're doing all the management for them. So they're not really doing much work at all. So, if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me after this, but I'm gonna go over how to do that from start to finish. But we try to go live every Monday at 12 p.m. Central in this Facebook group here. And then we put all the replays that we can on YouTube, youtube.com at Russell J. Walker, because Facebook takes them down after 30 days. And then the old replays, we try to put them up on YouTube. Sometimes YouTube will take them down because they don't want any like private information displayed. And doing this business, sometimes we have to show that, how we're doing it. And if you're interested in our free 8-week real estate wholesaling course, um, you can I'll send you the website at the end, but we have a free 8-week real estate wholesaling course. And we teach you everything that we do in our business to flip and cash flow houses. If you're looking for deals in Chicago area, this is our email list here to join our email marketing list. If you are a owner or you have a deal under contract, you're direct with the owner. You can submit the deal to us here to my email here, and we can see how we can help you. Um, so we just closed on like 3 Airbnb deals, like one rent to own, and we turned on Airbnb, and then two were just like Airbnb that we're managing for the owners. And they can be pretty lucrative if you do a good job, right? Like if you get a Airbnb, you manage it well. One Airbnb we have, for example, is closer to downtown Chicago area. Our 20% management fee, we're getting about close to 1,500 to 2,000 a month in profit in the summertime, right? And we've had that deal for I think 3 or 4 years already. So one deal, yeah, it could make 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month, could be only 500 a month. It depends on, of course, the revenue, the how much it can make. So we're going to show you how to kind of analyze deals, find out if you can even Airbnb in that area. So first you need to know your local laws. So first and foremost, right, you need to know, hey, can I even Airbnb? Will the city, the village, the allow me, right? So that's the first and foremost thing. So if you can't do that, then obviously you can't Airbnb the property, right? So you would want to go to Gemini and type in I actually just did one for someone asked me if we can Airbnb in the Oak Park area. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah. So can I legally Airbnb this house 5540 South Harvey, Oak Park, Illinois? And it gives me the answer. Yes, you can, but you need to go through the village. You need to pay $100 annual fee. You need to, the village needs to come out and inspect the property. You need to get, once after they inspect it, they may tell you, hey, you need to repair some things before you can do this. Then once they approve your Airbnb, you have to put a license on it. So you need to figure out like what is required what do I need to Airbnb in that area, right? And then a lot of times, um, you can do sometimes some areas, for example, I was looking at one recently where they banned the Airbnb in that city, but you can do like a 30-day rental. So you can do 30 days at a time. So we're moving forward with that owner where we're gonna do like I think it's like 5 bedrooms. So we're gonna do like 5 bedrooms and we're gonna rent each bedroom 30 days at a time. So the owner's gonna fully furnish it, we're gonna manage it, but she's gonna only able to do 30 days or more stays. So even though you can't legally Airbnb for a short-term rental where you're booking like 2 days at a time or 3 days at a time, you can look into, can I legally do it 30 days or more, right? And you can use Airbnb or you can mark it on like Facebook or Zillow and manage it that way, right? So first and foremost, you need to figure out, does the village allow it, the city allow it, and then you need to ask the question of, does the HOA allow it, right? So of course, some condos, of course, have HOAs, townhomes, but there are a lot of single family residences that are within the HOA. So you need to ask the owner, hey, do you have a HOA? And do they allow Airbnb? And if they banned it completely, you have to find out the rules against that. It may be the 30-day ban again. So the way around that is 30 days or more. They need to find out first and foremost, can I legally do it in this area? And if you can't, find out some other ways that find out other ways that you can, like the 30-day rule. And you need to know how to analyze Airbnbs. We do two things. We use AirDNA. I like the website AirDNA. They kind of have like what's called let me log in. So AirDNA it's a paid service. They have a free service as well, but you can type in your address. Let's see, let me type in this address. And it kind of give you like an estimate. So you can do this for free actually. Kind of give you an estimate on what they believe the revenue will come in at. So you just put the address in. It's kind of like a, Zillow rental estimate. But you see that it came out with 40,000 a year, 53% occupied. So, and then you got to put the bedrooms, the correct amount of bedrooms and bathrooms. So if you added if this is 3 bed, maybe it's 5 bedrooms, right? Or this is maybe 2 baths. And maybe instead of 6 guests, you can book, 12 guests at a time, right? So you gotta figure out this kind of just gives you an estimate. Now, I tell the owner, hey, this is just a ballpark estimate on it. And now if they were interested in moving forward, I would actually not physically, but I would actually go into Airbnb itself. So I'll go to Airbnb and I'll put in the zip code of Airbnb. So I'll go to Airbnb, put in the zip code or if it's not like Chicago's huge, right? So you got to do zip code. But Oak Park is pretty small. So I'm just going to put Oak Park, or you can just put the zip code and you're going to search. And you want to filter by, so right here, I'm looking at properties in Oak Park. And then you want to filter by your property, right? So my property is a single family home. Or maybe you're trying to do rooms, right? Maybe you're trying to rent rooms. So my property is a single family home. My property is 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 bathroom, 3 bedrooms, 3 beds. So right here, show. So it says there's over 1,000 in Oak Park. I don't believe that. No, 96. So 96 is my competition. So what I'm looking for is properties with the same amount of bedrooms and bathrooms. And I'm looking for ones that have a pretty good amount of reviews already. So you see, 59 reviews is pretty good, 41. If it's like a brand new listing where there's like, less than 10 reviews, I probably wouldn't use that. But what I would do is look at ones that are already established. So for example, if this is a 3-2 and mine's is a 3-2, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. This would be a good comp. So I'll go in here. I would of course it's good go in here get ideals of staging and stuff on how the property looks. But you go in here and look at the calendar and look at you can see how much they're booked. I can see like all of June, all of July is booked. August, you got a few days open. So you can see what they're getting per night, right? So you're getting 1,175 per night. So I'm gonna jot that down. August one, not per night, but they're getting 1,175, and that's 235 a night. So if you click on it, you can see the nightly rate. So I would probably do that for 3, maybe 6 months if I get the nightly rate, and then you kind of get averages. And then what's cool is you can see the calendar to see the demand in the area. Now, if you got an area with no one's booked at all, like June, like this month is not booked, next month is not booked, and um, it may be hard to do Airbnb in that area. But this one's fully booked in June, July, August is half open. So it looks like it is a hot area, right? So I'm gonna get the averages. So I'm gonna go out 3 to 6 months, and I'm gonna get their averages, and I'm gonna do that for maybe 3, 4 properties, and then I'm gonna send it to the owner, right? So I'm like, hey, here's comps I found right next to your property. And it's good to find comps like right next to it. Like for example, Oak Park is, decent sized city. So if my property is like right here on the map, I'm gonna zoom in and try to get properties as close as possible to my property, right? So it's better to get the properties that are closest. And then you're gonna get 3, 4 comps, and then you're gonna get the nightly rate. So this property may be 235 a night. This one is probably booked, maybe 20 nights, 25 nights out of the month. This one's getting, 200 a night, and then this one's getting 220 a night, and then you're getting the averages, right? So based upon these 3, 4 comps, I'm estimating, let's say they all average out to like 230 a night, and maybe they're booked, and uh so I'm gonna average out, maybe I'm gonna get 20 nights booked. I usually average out like 20 nights booked out of the month. So my average is gonna be 4,600 per month on total revenue. And this is, you know, hot months like June, July, August. This is the summertime, so these are the most in demand months. Um, and you want to do it for I would say 6 months out. So if you got June, July, August, September, October, November, you're getting into maybe November, December. So you kind of get the winter months where it's less demand in November and December, and you're going to get the averages, right? So and then I would present that to the owner. And when you're talking to the owners, it's more hey, this is not going to be a monthly thing. This is going to be a yearly thing. So you're not going to be making 4,600 a month every month. The best thing to do is give them the yearly averages. Like, hey, at the end of the year, you should end up making, 4,600 a month times that's 55,000. But this month is a really hot month, so maybe that AirDNA rentalizer, the 40,000 was more accurate, right? So um that's how you kind of analyze it. You want to act as a guest that you're booking a property, and then look at all the comps, and then you can see the how the properties look too, like the rehab, how the kitchen looks, how and there might be outliers, like this property has a nice giant pool in the backyard and yours doesn't, right? So I probably wouldn't use that. So if there's outliers like that, I wouldn't use those comps with yours, right? If yours, like when maybe a property has like a rooftop deck or something, right? How to find potential leads. Um, just doing your normal everyday marketing. A good list are like tired landlord lists. Um, People that owned a property for a long time, and maybe they owned it for 10 years or more. So these are tired landlords, and these are investors that, they don't live in the property. That's a great list for potential like rent to owns or Airbnbs. Zillow for rent, Facebook Marketplace for rent sections, Craigslist for rent. A great website is Furnish Finder, furnishfinder.com, where these properties are already furnished. Is it for? I think it's furnished. So furnishfinder.com, these properties are already furnished, fully furnished. You can move in. So you can potentially get, and I would always, if you can make a wholesale offer as well, like a cash offer, I would do that as well. You can make rent to own offers. You can make offer to uh Airbnb manage the property. So let's say I'm looking at this zip code here, 60641, and I just hit search, and I'm gonna find all these furnished properties. And some of them are bedrooms, that just a bedroom. So you probably want to look for like the entire house, right? So this one, 3,700 a month, and you got the property here, and you're gonna get the owner's contact information or name here. I'm not gonna pull it up because YouTube will block the video from publishing. But you can see, look at it, it's already fully furnished. Maybe this guy is tired of managing it. You can come in and maybe offer rent to own, turn around Airbnb it, or maybe you can offer Airbnb management. Um, so that's how you find leads. There's lots of them. Like if you go for Rent Zillow, I mean, you're gonna get thousands upon thousands of leads that you can call. They're already saying they want to rent it. So maybe they want to, and I would approach them too, as these could be potential wholesale deals. These could be, if you're trying to do listings, these could be potential listings. But um, like these are great ways to find potential leads, right? Again, the tired landlord list you can get from propwire.com. I think they got a tired landlord list for free. X leads we use, you can get tired landlord lists. Um, those are great leads to potentially turn these into to Airbnbs. And you need a team ready for setup for like staging, furniture, professional pictures. So the initial setup, right? Like sometimes the owner wants to set it up themselves, which is great, or maybe it's already furnished, which is even easier. But you need to get in contact with a staging company, maybe a furniture company, professional pictures. That's pretty easy. There's lots of staging companies out there. You can just go on AI and search for the zip code and find the best staging company. As for a furniture company, so you can just go to I we do recommend people port port furniture outlet, which is they rent furniture, but they also, after it's been used for a while, they will sell the furniture, and the furniture is like fully like refurbished. So that's in Florida, but they're nationwide. And they'll actually deliver it to you and set up. Of course, you got to pay a fee, but we like to use them for helping owners, or for us just furnishing the property, right? And then you'll see they have like full living room sets, dining room sets, bedroom sets that you can buy, and they're already so right here, look at 879 for this whole set. The couches, the chairs, the coffee table. So you need a so I recommend that if they're in your area, because what's cool is that they'll come and set everything up. So all the hard labor of setting up, all the heavy stuff is easy, they do. Um and a staging company. So you can simply go, I guess that's going to be local, right? Because you want to go to, Gemini or ChatGPT, give me the best staging company in Oak Park, Illinois. So it's gonna, give you the maybe three, four staging companies that you can contact to see if they can help you stage. If you don't want to do that, a lot of owners, like I said, like staging, they'll do that. Or if you want to do that yourself, you can. As far as for professional pictures, my recommendation is use Airbnb. Um, once you get your listing posted on Airbnb, um, Airbnb has their own professional photographers that you can use, and I recommend using them because um they certify that your Airbnb is real, and in my from what I'm aware of, they'll rank you higher because a professional actual Airbnb photographer went to the property and took these pictures. So my recommendation is, you get the property listed, put it on, once you get put on Airbnb, you can actually contact Airbnb to send you a professional photographer. And I think it maybe depends on the size or how many bedrooms, how many pictures you want. They probably charge about 200, maybe 250 for all the pictures. Then you need a team for managing it, right? So that's the day-to-day management. So once the staging, furniture, setup, professional pictures, that's all a one-time thing, right? So that's just one time, and then the day-to-day is the management, right? Cleaners, contractors. So in my opinion, if you need good contractors and cleaners, and I would say get two, right? For each area where you have properties. So just in case one cleaner has an emergency, you have a backup cleaner. Same thing with a general contractor, someone that can kind of do a little bit of everything, electrical, plumbing. How do you get these people? I would say there's a really good website where you can get them. Um, it's called TaskRabbit, and you can just go on here, find pretty much they'll do any task. They'll do any task that you need. Um, Anything you think of, they can even come assemble furniture for you, go to the grocery store for you and pick stuff up. They can come cut your grass, whatever you need, right? So let's say your Airbnb needs the grass cut, right? Right here, I can go on here, cut grass, put it in, right? But you're gonna go on here and let's see, you need cleaning, you're gonna put cleaning, and then you're gonna put your address in. Um, so for example, I just did this one in Florida. Let me just use that address. I per estimate maybe 2 to 3 hours, and I just tell it, we need cleaner for our Airbnb. It's a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. Um, Need to, of course, wash all the towels and sheets and put them back on. So we're just gonna go in here and look. So we see right here, we got cleaners ready to go. And you can see their reviews. So I can see she already got 10 reviews, 4.6, 2 reviews, um, 1 review, 3 reviews. She only got a 4.3. So I probably don't want to use someone with no reviews. So this one has like 10 reviews already. So she's probably the only one that has a decent amount. So I probably may select her, but usually you get more people that have more reviews. Um, but you want to get someone that's, decently priced and then has good reviews. And the same thing with a contractor. You can go in here and type in contractor, and then you can find contractors that have good reviews. And then try to get two, like I said, just in case, emergency, the contractor's not picking up or the cleaner's not picking up. Now, if you're rent to owning and then turn around an Airbnb, you're responsible for, the expenses with, any damages, depending on what you negotiate with the owner. But if you're just managing it, maybe the owner has their own, electrician, plumber, contractor you want to use. So you can ask them if they want to use their own. And then softwares, you want to use pricing software and management software. So the main thing is pricing. The thing that I see people make the biggest mistake is they don't use a pricing software. They just do like a flat rate where it's 100 a night or 200 a night every night, or the weekend maybe like $50 more, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to use software is the same thing like a hotel would use. So for example, we use Price Labs. So Price Labs, there's a lot of different pricing softwares. So for example, this one, Price Labs prices the property a different rate like every night, right? So when I go in here, you're gonna see this property, I have an open day on Tuesday for 215, and then every night's a different, right? So the next open day is June 22nd for 368. And then that same week, that weekend, that Friday is 627, 638. So it's like double, right? So almost double, um, double the price. So that's what you want. You want software like this that can lower the price, up the price, and it changes every day, right? Like it changes every single day. So you see, um, some months, like for example, this property here in the wintertime, it may make like 2 grand, right? And then the same month in summer, the same property in summer, June, July, it's making like 10 grand a month. And that's the reason is because of the pricing. We change it every night. We change it based upon demand, right? So you want to use a pricing software that will automatically do this, because if you were trying to do this every day, like, oh, I need to research, the next concert coming to town or the next big event, and you're constantly looking for it and changing the prices based upon, but this is going to do it automatically for you, so you don't have to try to figure it out yourself, right? And it's good to have it where, um, this will automatically cut the price. So you see that this is 215 because there's, it's like tomorrow, right? So it's just like half price almost, right? So that's what you want. Like if the next few days, like I have the next 3, 4, 5 days unbooked, we're gonna slash the prices by like 50% or more just to get a booking, right? Because we don't want vacant days. We want it as fully booked as possible, right? So and we've been managing Airbnbs for like 9 years with I think over 4,000 guests by now. So these are the things that professional will use. And every time I talk to an owner that, oh, I don't make money on Airbnb, they never used the pricing software, they never had the automation with the software. Um, because it knows that, hey, this is a slow season, we got to price it super low just to get some bookings so we make some money, right? Whereas the high season, it's priced high. It's not priced, as on the low end like like the slow season. So the high season, you're gonna get the most amount of money, and then the slow season, you're gonna be priced really low just to get some bookings, right? And then you want I would say AI messaging. We use hospitable.com. So AI is in here. So for example, you can download the app on your phone. And then when someone asks question like, hey, how far is your property from this place, right? I have the phone on my app. I have the app on my phone. I just hit AI and then boom, it responds. It responds to the person, right? So you can see here, we have automated messaging. So we have guest experience. So when someone sends a message, we have rules like, okay, if someone sends an inquiry, send this message. If someone um requests to book, send this message. If someone asks this question, send this message. Someone asks for a discount, send this message. So pretty much every question we have that's repeated all the time is in here, right? So ask about the parking, okay, send this message. Ask about pets or Wi-Fi, send this message. So it's automated, right? So and then 24 hours before check-in, we send the check-in instructions. That's automated. So we're not really the only time we're messaging, if they ask like a specific question, like the specific question that maybe the AI can't answer, that's the only time we probably get involved, right? But you can automate pretty much everything in here, every question, every message. So if you get something often, you just create a messaging rule. Say, hey, when someone asks a question about parking, respond with this. If someone asks a question about early check-in, say this. Late checkout, say this, right? And then it's just You just have to kind of and these are already in here. You just have to, turn them on, turn them off. That's what you want. You want automated uh messaging, right? Like you want a more hands-off you want to be hands-off as much as you can, right? So hospitable is what we're using for AI messaging. It's automatically going to send check-in instructions, going to send checkout instructions, going to ask, for reviews. That's the next thing is that your focus is going to be five-star reviews, so it's all about customer service. So I'm not gonna complain about the guests if it's just like a little minor thing, right? Maybe they damage a little thing that costs $5. They broke a glass or they broke something so minor, right? That you go and ask them for money and that causes maybe them to leave you a bad review, right? So our goal is customer service. We're like a hotel, so we're always trying to accommodate the guests no matter how uh wrong we think they are. We're trying to accommodate them no matter what, right? And if something goes wrong, we try to fix it right away, meaning that, hey, especially if you have the AC out or the water's not working or something's not working, we just ask, hey, can we go there, can we fix it today, can we go there today at 3, right, and fix it right away. So it's all about customer service. You're always trying to get a five-star review, accommodate the guests, and of course you're trying to avoid all parties, damages. So we have a message, we have a house rule like, hey, if there is an instance where where we have to call the police because there's a big party, you're disturbing all the neighbors late at night, a lot of noise, and you're having a big party. We have your card on file. We will charge you $2,500. So obviously we can't really enforce that, but we have that message to avoid the party. So we always have a lot of people, and you want to avoid that because that's the fastest way to get your Airbnb shut down is having like a big party. And that happened to me in the beginning when I started. I would just, kind of accept everybody and anybody. I was just happy to get a booking. And then I would have tons of parties, and all of a sudden, the neighbors complain, the city gets complaints. If there's HOA, they shut you down. So the worst thing to do is like have a house that's a party house, right? All the neighbors are not gonna like you. Everyone's gonna try to shut you down, right? As far as damages, Airbnb has like $1 million insurance policy. So every guest that comes in, if they do damage it, of course you need to send before and after pictures that are dated and receipts and everything. So if there's any damages by the guests, first you have to ask the guest to pay for it. If they refuse, we have to file a claim with Airbnb and file an insurance claim with them, and then they end up paying it. It does take a little while though. So use AI to optimize your listing, description, pictures, ideal. So also go into like Gemini or ChatGPT and send it like a link to your listing and say, hey, can you help me optimize this? Can you take a look at the pictures and the description I put in? Can you give me a great description? Can you give me a great neighborhood information? So it can fill all those information out for you, where you can use well, that's what I would do. I would use AI to, fill out your description, fill out all the data, all the details of the property to help you optimize your listing, right? So that's how you can start and manage Airbnb. I know it's not full, in depth, but this is everything you need, right? You need a team, you need, your cleaners and your contractors are going to be always at the property more than you. And you can do this from anywhere. Like I've had Airbnbs for I don't know, 6 years, and I still never went to the property myself physically. So you can have an Airbnb where you manage it from where you're at and you're never going to the property. You have your cleaners, you have your team that's doing everything, right? So if you guys have any questions or reach out to me. We've been doing Airbnb for 9 years. I think uh we probably have like over 2,500 reviews on Airbnb from guests, right? So if you guys have any questions, reach out. So we're gonna get into of course scripture, Bible, what it says. Today we're talking about servant leader. So first and foremost, like um the Bible is all about like transformation, like changing, right? It talks about all the time, like, hey, you become a new creature. Everything changes once you come to faith, right? For me, I used to love money more than anything, so I would work 16-hour days. I would everything used to be about money, making money, and it just destroyed everything, destroyed my health, destroyed my relationships, um, destroyed everything. And then now today I try to work 10:30 to 2:30, like where I'm sitting down at an office working. Of course, as I'm not working and people are messaging on my phone, I'm messaging back and forth, but usually it's like 4 hours, right? So I went from working like 16-hour days to try to max work like 4 hours in a day. And focus more on my health, focus more on family, focus more on of course I wake up every morning and focus on reading God's word and becoming more like Christ every day. But today we're talking about servant leadership, what Jesus taught us. And this is from John Maxwell's uh Bible study devotional. And this is John 13:4-5. This is Jesus. He got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, wrapped a towel around his waist, and after he poured water into a basin, he began to wash his disciples' feet. So Jesus was teaching them to serve others, to be a servant, not to lord over other people, meaning that, oh, I work so that people can serve me, right? It should be the opposite. I work so I can serve others, right? That is the reason why I keep showing up to doing these trainings, no matter how many people watch or not, is because God t tells us that, hey, use the things that God has blessed you with and turn around and help other people with it, right? So you take the things that God has already blessed you with and you serve others with that, right? So when I can help someone that, is broke and poor and doesn't have any money. I can teach them how to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month. I'm using my gifts, my talents, my skills to serve other people, right? And that's what you should do. You should look at, hey, what did God bless me with that I can serve others with, right? When you think of servanthood, what do you envision? Servanthood is not about a position or skill, it's about your attitude. And you undoubtedly have met people in service positions who have poor attitudes towards servanthood, just as you can sense when a worker doesn't want to help people. You can just as easily direct whether a leader has a servant heart. The truth is that the best leaders desire to serve others and not themselves, right? So the goal is always to, hey, how can I serve? How can I give? How can I help, right? And you should go in that mindset when you're talking to sellers, when you're negotiating deals, is you're trying to help the other person on the other side, right? So you should go in with that kind of heart attitude where, hey, I'm just here to help the other person, right? And if you go in it with that, it's not just about the numbers or making money, and if you go in it with the attitude of, hey, how can I literally really help this person out and get them what they want, right? And then you do everything that you can to help this other person out and get what they want, um, you're serving others, right? True servants, true servant leaders put others ahead of their own agenda, and they possess the confidence to serve. They initiate service to others. So they're actually going out of their way to serve others, right? They're not position conscious, so we don't need to, hey, I need to be the boss. I need to be the CEO, right? And they serve out of love. So for me, before I used to do the opposite. I used to serve for myself, right, to make more money, and that was it, right? And I used to wanted to be like, hey, I wanted to make a lot of money so that I can, have mansions and this and that, and people serving me all the time, and I can just do whatever I want, right? But the opposite now is more so of like, hey, I just want to help others, serve others, so that hopefully I can not only preach the gospel to someone, but also help them financially, help them, in their finances, right? Like if you teach someone how to fish, they can eat forever, right? So if I can help someone if I can help just one person how to fish, how to make money, you can be fed forever, right? Servant leadership is never motivated by manipulation or self-promotion. In the end, the extent of your influence depends on the depth of your concern for others. That's why it's so important for leaders to be willing to serve. In Matthew 20, 25, 28, Jesus called them together and said, "You know the rulers and Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and then whoever wants to be first must be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." Right? So Jesus came to serve. He came to be a servant, not to be served, right? And he gave his life, right? He gave his life for everyone. He gave his life for you, and that's what he's calling you. He's saying, "Hey, I gave my life for you, and will you believe in me, trust in me? Surrender your life to me. Make me your Lord." He's already Lord and King of this world, but will you make him Lord of your life, right? In what ways can you be a serving leader to others? So, um, think of ways you can serve, right? And that's what you want to do is in my opinion, the greatest satisfaction is when you're serving others, helping others, and you're doing it without, like a selfish motive, right? You're doing it without like, hey, I'm doing this serving so I can be rich or something or whatever, right? So when you go with that heart, it's more satisfying. I mean, every seller you talk to, you go in with that heart of a servant mindset of, hey, how can I really help this person? Every deal you talk with someone, how can I really help this person, right? So we're looking for partners. If you are looking for mentorship, you can check out kingdomreiacademy.info /homepage, where we teach you how to flip and cash flow houses without getting into debt, without even using your own cash. And we teach you how to do that. And it's unlimited mentorship. So you can call me, text me as many times as you need, jump on Zoom calls as many times as you need. That's basically what you're paying for is the mentorship, right? If you need help, support, reach out. This is my email, call, text, email. Here to help you, here to serve you. If you have any questions at all, if you have any, of course, any deals, properties, send it our way. See if we can help you get to the closing table. So God bless. We'll see you guys next week in the membership group. We'll see you next week, and we'll see you guys next week, Monday at 12.